Hello guys, as I have promised in my previous video, this video is going to be on the OpenAI API functions, elaborately explained. So, what is OpenAI API functions? Imagine you have functions defined in the Python code, such as get order details, delete order, and get all orders, get order by customer name, and get order by order name. These functions I have already explained in the MCP video. I'm going to leave that link in the iCard. If you are interested, please check out. So to explain in simple way, get order details is going to fetch the order details by order ID, but whereas delete order is going to delete order on the base of order ID, whereas get all orders is going to get all the orders, whereas get order by customer name is going to get orders by customer name, and get orders by is going to get orders by orders name. In the current example, these functions are going to connect to the SQL Server using PyODBC library and execute respective queries according to the function. I'm going to leave the link for the SQL query scripts to generate this table in the GitHub repository. If you want the table, you can check it out. So when it comes to OpenAI functions, so let's imagine there is a prompt get order details of two. A customer is asking to your chatbot. Just imagine you are a bot. Which function are you going to execute? You are going to execute get order details uh, with order ID parameter. In the same way, the customer is asking to delete an order of two. So then which function are you going to execute? You're going to execute delete order with respect to order ID. When the customer asks for get all orders, you are going to execute get all orders. In the same way, when you ask get orders of customer Albert, you're going to execute get order by customer name by passing Albert as a parameter. In the same way, if you want to ask for the football orders, you can execute get order by order name football. By this, you and I can easily say which function to execute on the base of prompt. So, are the AI models are capable of doing the same? My answer is yes. Even AI models can able to identify the function to execute on the based on the function name and the description. That is called OpenAI API functions. First, I am going to explain OpenAI API response type. For that, first I have to create OpenAI client by passing OpenAI API key. I have already explained in the other video of creation of the API key. I'm going to leave the link in the iCard. Now execute the functions. Now let's test the function get order details by order ID. So the function is working fine. Now create the dictionary functions with the parameter name is same as the function name and assign the function to that parameter respectively. After you are done with that, you have to create a variable named tools. Over in the tools array, to the type parameter, you have to pass function. As we are using function, and the name parameter should be the same as the function name, and description needs to be the context of the function. You have to clearly describe the function so that a model can clearly understand the function by description and tells us when to execute the function based on the prompt and the description. And in the parameters, since get order details is going to accept only one parameter, which is order ID, and the type of it is an integer, so have to provide the type as integer, and description is to be the order ID. Since order ID is required for the function to execute, have to provide order ID value in the required array. Just execute the cell. Now we are going to create get GPT response function. Since we are using responses, We are going to return client.responses.create, and model we are going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo, and assign the created tools variable to the tools. Input we are going to get dynamically from the parameters. Now we are going to create execute function call function. So this is the helper function. This helper function is going to accept function name and arguments in the string format and execute them. For example, if I want to execute get order details function using this execute function call, I have to pass get order details function name in the string format and order ID is equals to 1 in stringified JSON format to execute function call. It is going to execute and return the value. So let's try to pass tell me a joke prompt. As we know, tell me a joke is not relevant to the tools that we have passed. ChatGPT is just going to spit out some dumb joke in the text value with response function tool called empty. Because tell me a joke is not relevant to orders. Now let's try to ask what is the order status. When you ask for the order status, OpenAI is still not able to identify the function to execute as we haven't mentioned order ID in the query. So when you give the prompt, what is the order status of order 5? It can able to understand 5 as the order ID and get order details is the function to execute. Now let's try to execute this function using execute function call helper function. When you execute it, it just gathers the order details of order ID 5. Now save the execute function call response in the variable function underscore response. Now you have to change the input response that you got by OpenAI. You have to append the response output which is generated by OpenAI and also append the function response output with response call ID and type needs to be function call underscore output, and let's see the response text. It had responded to the question what is the status of order 5 elaborately by reading function response. Now that we have learned how to use functions with OpenAI responses, let's move over to chat completion. There is nothing much to explain about this chat completion. It is almost similar to OpenAI responses. So I don't want to explain more regarding this chat completion. Just I'm going to leave the code in the description. You can check it over there. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comments. I will try to help you out. Now let's see how to use OpenAI functions with Ollama. Not all models are supporting this tools feature. To know how, open browser and go to ollama.com. Click models. You can see filters. The filters select tools. So these models are supporting tools feature. I'm going to download Quinn 3 1.7 billion model. Regarding this Ollama installation and how to download this AI models, I have already made a video. If you want to know how, please check the link in the iCard. So let's go ahead and download Quinn 1.7 billion model. Actually, I have already downloaded this model, so it didn't took much time. Now you can close the command line. Check if Ollama is running in the background. If it's not running, search for Ollama and run. So now copy the chat completion file and save it in the same folder. Change secret key to Ollama and add a new variable base underscore URL http localhost 11434/v1. And in the functions, change the function as I have described right now. In get GPT response, model name needs to be Queen3 1.5. And instead of functions, it needs to be tools. And that's it. Now let's execute tell me a joke. It is going to respond with a dumb joke, but it is actually generated from locally. In the same way, let's execute order status and get order details of order ID 5. So over here you can see a tool calls function name is get order details. Parameter is order ID is equals to 5. The good thing about this is the model is running locally. There is no need of internet. Now let's see how to do the same using Postman. Let's see how to do it with responses. First we have to describe all the functions as shown and run. You will get the tools to execute. Now let's see chat completion. It is going to be almost same as chat response. Now let's see how to execute for Ollama. Place the base URL and remove the authentication key and change the body as I have described. I'm going to leave the link to the Postman collection in the description. You can find them in my GitHub repository. And that's it for this video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my video and hit the bell icon to never miss an update.